Newtek's founder, John Leonard Hofstas. John was the initiator of Newtek, period. It was his idea. He was the one who gathered together a group of death with dignity oriented and technologically capable people of putting together, of developing this this equipment and procedures. The Newtek Group is a privately funded, self-delivering, technologically development think tank. It supports but does not engage in legislative reform. Newtek's funding father. Derek Humphrey, who is the lead of everything that is this movement, quickly recognized that the development of technological ways to end one's life peacefully. Good luck, lady. Thank you. Where's your pork? Okay. Newtek was designed to help eliminate these traditional methods of ending one's own life, all of which was ghastly, tragic, and horrible for all concerned. The concept of using plastic bags and drugs, not gases, but drugs, evolved in the early 1980s. The method was painless, but it often failed. In 1990, Dr. Jack Kevorkian's Thanatron was invented. The method of death was patient-initiated lethal injection. The patient was fitted with a feed tube which was clamped shut. The machine was turned on and did absolutely nothing until the patient themselves removed that clamp and the flow started. Death pursued within a couple of minutes. That proved to be cumbersome, so Dr. Kevorkian turned to what came to be known as the Mersitron. And this is the first inert gas end-of-life system developed. It consisted of patient-initiated carbon monoxide inhalation via a common face mask. The next development was due to one of Newtek's developers, Dr. Philip Nitschke, who created what came to be known as the deliverance machine. It essentially was a computerized version of Dr. Kevorkian's machine, but it produced a direct injection of lethal drugs after the patient answered 3 very blunt questions on the computer screen, and then yes. And at that point, the liquid started to flow and the patient died rapidly. And Bob Dent, Judy, you in the audience? Okay. Judy Dent, Bob's wonderful wife, is here today. Newtek technically had its origins in 1967 when John Hofstas and Rob Niels met in Canada to discuss plans to design a natural death inducer they ended up calling the D-breather. Niels' team was developing a closed-system, water-based carbon dioxide scrubbing device. Built inside a 5-gallon plastic pail, his staff jokingly called his testing prototype the kick-the-bucket machine. This is simply a development stage. This was not for use by anybody. This was to test the internal technology of the system. They met, the third Newtek meeting took place also between John Hofstas, Rob Niels, and Philip Nitschke of Australia. It was Philip, who was the first doctor in the world, in the Western world, to help 4 people die under the Rights of the Terminally Ill Act, which had been initiated by in the Northern Territory of Australia. Newtek set extremely high standards. It was designed to develop technologies that would provide quick, painless, certain legal, demedicalized ways to empower rational adults to die at the time, place, and the circumstances of their own choosing. They operate under very rigid intellectual and medical guidelines. And any system that exists in this world today, if it is going to be considered to be one of the finest or the finest possible way to bring about self-deliverance, must match these and meet these criteria. When New Tech development. Oops, let me go back there. It must be non-violent, would not disfigure the corpse or leave behind a revolting scene for others to find or clean up after, such as blowing their brains out. The method could be used by terminally or incurably ill people who could not swallow pills or liquids. The required supplies could be obtained legally and without any prescription. That's another advantage of the helium system. Kmart is the last shopping place some of our colleagues have. The method would not require permission from any government authority or medical practitioner. Oops, sorry, I keep forgetting. The method would result in an intentionally self-inflicted death, which is not a crime, rather than assisted suicide or mercy killing, which are illegal in most countries. New Tech's simple goal to establish self-deliverance, rational suicide, as an unstoppable choice based solely on the right of personal autonomy. New Tech's first working meeting was held in June in 1999 in Berkeley, California, to discuss the new life-ending procedures. And as you can see here, that is the debreather being tested by the man who did the actual manufacturing. In 1999, when the debreather, and that's it right there, had been tested internally by New Tech, it was taken to the field to help suffering people die who had chosen to do so. The man holding the machine there is the Reverend George David Exo, one of the earliest of the exit guides, and a very close friend of mine for the last 25 years. Here's how the debreather works. Room air consist, what we're breathing now is 78% nitrogen, an inert gas, 12% oxygen, and 1% trace gases. When breathed, most of the oxygen is consumed and burned by the body as fuel. What remains is exhaled along with carbon dioxide, the byproduct of the food, of the burning process, of the oxygen. But if only a fixed amount of air is breathed and then rebreathed, the oxygen content drops rapidly and the brain dies painlessly in about 5 to 6 minutes due to oxygen deprivation. It is completely painless and virtually 100% effective. Another one of the group members, Rob Niels, had developed and twice field tested another inert gas deathing device. His expirator was simple to the helium gas system, but instead of breathing helium from a plastic bag or face mask, the device substituted inert nitrogen gas to which the body has no reaction. Dr. Jack Kevorkian had already used this same technology prior to turning to lethal injection. The main problem with nitrogen is it's hard to get a hold of compared to helium, which you can walk in and buy off the shelf at any Kmart, any place in the world. This is 1999, only 2 years before the first concept of New Tech. Virtually the entire array of New Tech technology was produced in 2 years flat. And at the first public conference in Seattle in 1999, 28 experts worldwide met to share their philosophies and discoveries. And 2 reporters, one from a Canadian, one from an American newspaper, and photographers were brought in for a special guided tour of the facilities. And this is what New Tech came up with in 2 years flat. The helium system is very simple. A hood and Kmart. 5 minutes. You gave me more before. Dr. Nishke invented the cogen, a carbon dioxide generator machine, another way to produce lethal gas. And his peanut project set out to independently produce Nembutal, but it was technically unsuccessful. In Germany, Roger Kusch took Dr. Kevorkian's trend and developed a lethal injection machine. I'm not up to date on what he has done or not done there. But the worldwide success of the helium system ultimately inhibited the development of new self-development technology. Helium was and remains that effective. New Tech still promotes development of new technologies of gentle death. As with today, their briefings are typically run in tandem with biennial congresses of the World Federation. And if you have any ideas, please contact us. And thank you very much to the World Federation and the Final Exit Network for inviting us all to experience beautiful Chicago. And according to my taskmaster, I probably have about 90 seconds to answer questions, so shoot. Yes, ma'am. There are problems that have to be dealt with individually, and that would be one of them. Okay. 2 questions, and I'm out of here.
Just a comment. I don't think that the law is fully passed in Quebec. I think it's still, we have a provincial, it was a provincial decision by the legislature in Quebec, but it will now go before the Supreme Court of Canada, I believe, if I've got my facts straight.
Fantastic.
It's not fully into law.
Last question. Hugh?
Is there any use of carbon dioxide as a gas to exclude oxygen?
Carbon dioxide, there's no particular benefit of carbon dioxide over the other gases available.
Next speaker is Dr. Baudouin Chabot from the Netherlands, a Dutch psychiatrist. He's been working on technologies for quite a while. He has 2 books and 2 DVDs in the other room on the subject.
Yes.
And he'll tell us about that today, if we get it straight.
Yes. Which is always question.